In the quiet corners of Seokjin_EP tour, where the stage lights can't reach and the cameras aren't rolling, a different kind of story has begun to unfold. One not written in official statements or brand campaigns, but in loyalty, love, and a silent promise made from son to mother. On July 3, 2025, Jin of BTS was spotted at Gimpo International Airport in Seoul, bound for Japan, as the second leg of his solo world tour commenced. The atmosphere was electric. Reporters swarmed, fans held signs, and social media exploded with speculation about what awaited him in Chiba and Osaka. But among the frenzy, what many didn't see was Jungkook quietly boarding the same flight, not as a performer, not as a scheduled guest, but as something far more profound, a silent guardian honoring a vow. Multiple sources close to the BTS inner circle have now confirmed that before the tour began, Jungkook visited Jin's family home, an emotional, private meeting away from the public eye. It was there that Jin's mother, known for keeping a low profile throughout BTS's rise, reportedly spoke to Jungkook with tearful eyes and a simple plea: please don't let him go through this alone. To those who know the history of BTS, that moment carries weight. Jin, as the eldest member, was the steady rock for many years, guiding, feeding, and protecting the younger ones during their early struggles. And now, as he steps into unfamiliar solo territory, it is Jungkook, the youngest, who has come full circle to return that love. The decision stunned many behind the scenes. Jungkook had been preparing for a massive solo rollout of his own, reportedly backed by Bang Si-hyuk himself. But something shifted during the final days of June. Instead of finalizing his own tour plans, Jungkook redirected everything, his schedule, his team, even his creative focus, to follow Jin through every stop of Seokjin tour. And now we know why. He didn't need to be asked twice, one staff member shared. After that meeting with Jin's mom, he walked out of the house, called his manager, and said, "I'm going with him. I'm not letting Hyung stand alone." As Jin landed in Japan, fans noticed something different. Not in his appearance, but in his energy. There was a calmness, a quiet steadiness to him. And behind that strength, sharp-eyed fans caught glimpses of Jungkook at the airport, wearing a mask and hoodie, staying in the background. He didn't wave. He didn't perform. He was just there, and yet, his presence spoke louder than any announcement. This tour is more than a concert series. It's Jin's emotional homecoming after military service, a return to the stage not as a member of Seven, but as a soloist finding his footing in a changed world. The loneliness of that journey could have been immense. But Jin is not alone, because Jungkook kept his promise to the Hyung who once cooked for him at 3 a.m., who shielded him from harsh criticism, who walked beside him through their meteoric rise, and to Jin's mother, who entrusted her son's heart to the one person she believed would understand its weight. At the Chiba Dome concert, fans reported spotting Jungkook near the lighting crew during the encore, his silhouette still, his eyes locked on Jin as he performed Moon beneath the cascading lights. No official introduction, no duet, just unwavering presence, and that is what makes it more powerful. While HYB remains silent on Jungkook's continued role in the tour, fans don't need confirmation. They see the story unfolding in real time, a magne repaying years of love not with press headlines, but with footsteps, city to city, always just a few feet behind the man who once carried him. Now, with Osaka ahead and European cities soon to follow, the tour grows heavier with emotion. Not because of chart pressure or flashy promotions, but because every night, behind the curtains, a silent promise is being kept, a promise made not to a label, not to fans, but to a mother, and to a brother, and to something far more eternal than fame. Jungkook could have been anywhere in the world this summer, but he chose to be beside Seokjin, because sometimes the most powerful stages are the ones you don't stand on. And so, as the Seokjin_EP tour continues to draw massive crowds and emotional responses around the world, the heart of the tour beats not just through Jin's powerful vocals or his poignant lyrics, but through the silent rhythm of devotion, stitched tightly into every moment Jungkook spends behind the scenes. In Osaka, the emotion deepened. Fans reported that just before Jin took the stage, the stadium lights dimmed longer than usual. Some thought it was a technical glitch. But in that hush, a few noticed something remarkable. Jungkook backstage, adjusting Jin's mic himself, his face half hidden beneath a black hoodie. No cameras, no spotlight, just care. That moment quickly became a viral fan thread titled, "He's not just watching, he's protecting." More whispers followed. During rehearsals, sound engineers noticed Jungkook offering quiet feedback on Jin's in-ears. At one point, he allegedly asked the lighting crew to dim the front lights a little more so Jin wouldn't squint during his high notes. He didn't give orders as a star, but as someone who knew exactly how Jin thinks and performs. This wasn't just help. This was intuition born of years of brotherhood. Jin's mother, though absent from the public eye during the Japan leg, is said to be in constant contact with the tour team. A source close to the family revealed that she sends handwritten notes before each major stop, short lines of encouragement, often signed simply as Yama. One crew member noted that Jungkook keeps a folded note inside the pocket of his guitar case. "You keep him safe," the note reportedly reads. "He always watched over you. Now it's your turn." It's hard not to be moved by the image of Jungkook, the youngest, once the most shielded, now quietly holding the emotional weight of the tour on his shoulders. His actions are redefining what it means to be an idol in 2025. Not through headlines or record-breaking singles, but through invisible loyalty. In an industry often driven by spectacle, Jungkook is choosing presence. In a world where every move is monetized, he's choosing moments that may never be filmed. And for fans, that's where the magic lies, as fans questioning everything they thought they knew about BTS's current chapter. If Jungkook has placed his global solo career on hold, just to walk beside Jin, what does that mean for the rest of the group? What conversations have been happening in silence, away from press releases and label timelines? Is this the early heartbeat of something greater, something called reunion? The tension surrounding the tour's final stops in London and Amsterdam is growing. Rumors swirl daily, of other members joining quietly in support, of a secret acoustic set being prepared by Jin and Jungkook, of a hidden tribute planned for Jin's family. Some believe the final concert may close not with a bang, but with a shared stage, one last look into the heart of BTS that defies schedules, contracts, or expectations. For now, Jin continues to command every venue with grace, humor, and heartbreaking honesty. But behind him, just out of frame, Jungkook remains. Not as a guest, not as a star, a promise kept, a silent vow from the boy who grew up under Jin's care, to the man now standing alone, under the lights, but never truly alone, because when a mother whispers, "Stay with him," Jungkook listens and never lets go. And as the tour moves into its European chapter, the emotional current intensifies, not because of spectacle, but because of something far more fragile and sacred. The unshakable presence of someone who was never expected to stay, but chose to in London. The crowd welcomed Jin with thunderous applause. But those watching closely felt it. Something else in the air. Something deeper. It wasn't just the music or the visuals. It was the stillness behind the curtain, where Jungkook waited again. Fans have started referring to him as the silent shadow, not for lack of significance, but because of his refusal to take the spotlight away from the one it was meant for. Yet the emotional crescendo came during the encore. As Jin sat alone at the piano, performing a stripped-down version of The Astronaut, his voice faltered, not from technical error, but from emotion. A hush fell over the arena. And then, for a split second, the audience saw it. Jungkook, standing just beyond the side stage, mouthing every lyric with him. Jin didn't look over. He didn't need to. He knew he was there. It's moments like these that have fans wondering whether the tour was ever really a solo endeavor, or whether this entire journey has been a quiet tribute, not just to Jin's artistry, but to the bond that raised BTS from trainees to legends. A bond that lives now not in choreographed perfection, but in glances, gestures, and unspoken promises. And at the center of it all stands a mother who may never take the stage, but whose presence lingers in every beat. Jin's mother, though absent from public view, is becoming a symbolic figure among armies. Fans have taken to leaving letters and white roses at venue entrances, gifts for Yama. They write, acknowledging the woman who raised a son brave enough to lead alone, and whose silent plea brought back the brother who refused to let him walk that road unaided. Some say her impact stretches beyond Jin and Jungkook. Whispers have begun surfacing from HYB corridors that other members, Jimin, Taehyung, even Yoongi, have reached out privately to ask how they can support the final leg. Not with headlines, but with presence. Just like Jungkook did. Not because they were told to, but because they understand. Because maybe this tour isn't just a musical chapter. Maybe it's the family moment they never had in public.